I've been looking for a house with no walls or no whispers, no hiding places, no secret sister. Been looking for a house that won't shelter a lie, no tear-stained past or reason to cry. I wanna live.
This is Empowering Women Everywhere. I am your host, Nan Gill, and today our guests are Andre Standard and Lynn Mcdonald. Hi, how are you?
Hi, how are you?
Very
Nice
good.
to be here.
Good to
Very
have
happy
you.
to be here as well, too.
Okay, Andre is the outreach manager of the Alzheimer's Association, the Hudson Valley chapter. He facilitates the educational programs about aging, that is normal and aging, and that which is not so normal. He speaks on topics about Alzheimer's and dementia. And Lynn Mcdonald is retired from government. She's a volunteer for the Alzheimer's Association, and she's a facilitator for a caregiver support group in Sullivan County. Hi, Lynn.
Hi,
and
Lynn.
Andre. Great to have you here. So, Andre, do you want to tell us a little bit about the programs that you have?
Yeah, absolutely. So the Alzheimer's Association Sullivan Hudson Valley chapter, which it was formerly known as, is now the Greater Hudson Valley chapter. We actually have a reach across seven different counties here in the state of New York. We are in Sullivan, Orange, Dutchess, Putnam, Rockland, Ulster, and Westchester County as well too. The association was founded in 1980, and one of the main objectives of the association is to eliminate Alzheimer's disease through the promotion of research, as well as to minimize the number of cases of dementia that people will experience in the future through the promotion of brain health.
Right.
But the particular programs that the Hudson Valley chapter offers include everything from care consultations, which are an opportunity for families and a person with the disease to come in, sit down with someone, and plan for the future of that individual. We can have discussions regarding seeking a diagnosis, discussions regarding financial and legal matters. We also have services such as memory cafes, which are an opportunity for the family and that individual to sit down with other families and other individuals that are going through something similar.
Right.
And everyone has an opportunity to sit down, eat, enjoy some live music, and speak about their experiences with one another. We have support groups. We also have amazing support group facilitators as well too.
Which Lynn is one of them.
I am one of them.
Yes, yes. And we also have several other outreach programs as well too.
Okay. And if someone wants to get a hold of you, what is your website?
The website to find information about the local Hudson Valley chapter is www.a as in apple, l as in lemon, z as in zebra.org, and then it's a / Hudson Valley.
Okay. And if they need to give you a call, what's the number?
So the hotline number is a
Okay.
24/7 number. It is 1-800-272-3900. One of the benefits of us having this 24/7 hotline is that no matter what time of day it is, you're always going to get someone that's able to assist you with your immediate needs.
Right.
If an individual gives us a call at that number, sometime between standard business hours, 8:30 in the morning to about 5:30 in the afternoon, someone local to them is always going to answer, or whomever is available at the nearest chapter site is going to answer. However, let's say someone's in crisis on a Saturday evening at 11 o'clock and they really need some information or just an ear to talk to.
Right.
By calling that 24/7 hotline number, there's always a qualified therapist on the other end, and they're also able to access all of the information regarding the different services that are available in your area that we're able to see in your chapter.
Now, these services are free, or is it a cost involved? Or?
So the Alzheimer's Association does provide information and referral, as well as other services that are completely free.
Right.
We can point you in the right direction towards the different centers and services that are available. Those may not always be a gratis, but working with us, we're always providing all of our services 100% for free.
Okay. All right. And then Lynn,
Yes.
tell me a little bit about what you're doing.
Well, I run a caregiver support group, and right now we have about 12 members in the group, and it's for supporting the people who support the dementia patients.
Okay.
Because one thing that I learned when I started doing this 4 years ago was that if somebody new comes in and they listen and they ask questions, they find out. When we leave, they say, I thought I was alone. With caregiver support groups, you're never alone.
Right.
We share each other's phone numbers, email addresses, everything, so that anyone can get in touch with there's 4 facilitators in my group, and anyone can get in touch with any one of the 4 facilitators at any time.
Right.
And then we meet once a month in the evening. We're the only group that meets in the evening. The first Tuesday of every month we meet, and we bring in speakers sometimes. We show movies,
Okay.
if they're important to us, or relevant to us. But mostly we are pretty chaotic. We just open and do the housework first. You have to be here, this is why you don't go there. And then we just open it up.
Right.
First one who wants to speak.
So it's more or less a group that can get together, that are in similar situations, that can share their experiences and what worked for them.
Exactly.
And not be alone.
And we meet in the evenings because we were given the opportunity to use the conference room at a nursing home in Sullivan County.
Okay.
And I shouldn't say a lot, but some of our members have family in the nursing home.
Okay.
So they can come after work and they visit with their loved one.
Right.
And then they come downstairs to the conference room. Anybody who has questions, anybody who has theories, anybody who has answers.
Right.
One of the biggest things that we've learned with dementia patients is they hate to bathe. We're not sure why, but we have lots of ways to get around that.
Okay.
Which we've learned from one another. So it's that kind of thing. That's
Yeah.
what we're there for. And if you have a loss, we're there for you. Whatever,
Right.
call us, we're there. Don't call us, we'll still be there. That's what we do. Now I also have another program that I'm very interested in for dementia patients. And just a little bit of background, my mother-in-law was in a nursing home for 3.5 years, but she suffered from Alzheimer's for 15 years.
Wow.
And one thing I noticed, I was with her every day in the end, and one thing that I noticed was that when I took her to the church services, although she was nonverbal, she would mouth the hymn
Right.
words. And it would relax her.
Uh-huh.
So whenever she got agitated, I would take her back to her room. My husband
Right.
brought our keyboard in, and I would play for her and I would sing for her. And it would calm her down right away. So that's background on music.
Right.
Now, Music and Memory is a program that was devised by Dan Cohen. And he started it because he made a documentary about dementia patients and chronically ill patients.
Right.
And what music does for them. And each person in the program has their own iPod Nano and their own headset.
Right.
And you put it over their ears, they block out anything else. And the music is on that Nano is the choice of either the resident or the choice of the family,
Right.
so that we know what's important to them. I saw a movie and I recommend it to anybody. The documentary is called Alive Inside
Right.
by Dan Cohen. And I saw changes in people that would your jaw would drop. Just from having this music that they know. Nonverbal people were suddenly speaking. Angry, insulated people were suddenly opening up. It was the most amazing thing. And so then I asked with other members of my group, could we do this in Sullivan County? And so we did. The Sullivan County Adult Care Center is the nonprofit adult care, and they have their own memory wing, which was fabulous. It's memory care, and they started it there. We went through all the learning everything. You know, we took the workshops. We learned how to do it, and I was the only one not an employee of the adult care center that took all the classes, so that I could then bring it to other nursing homes.
Right. So you actually work with other nursing homes and
Yes,
get them started on this program.
we're just starting on the for-profit nursing home, which is Achieve Rehab and Nursing Facility in Liberty. And apparently, I haven't seen anything recently on the other program, but apparently it's going very, very well.
Good.
So to see it with somebody that you know
Right.
is absolutely incredible.
Well, something that you didn't know about us, we have a program in the Academy of Film, Television, Stage, and Performing Arts. It's called Once More Frankly. And David Wilson actually goes out with a friend of his, Marty Schwartz. And Marty plays keyboard and David sings all the old Sinatra songs. So we do a live show. So if you have any facilities...
Well, I have two right in Sullivan County, 3 actually, and I know that he would be welcomed at any of them.
So can you tell us some of the early warning signs for Alzheimer's?
Yeah, absolutely. Before I do, I always like to preface the answer to that question with a question. So, what's the difference between Alzheimer's and dementia?
Okay.
A lot of the time the two tend to be lumped together, and the terms are used interchangeably. But the reality is that there are over 70, 75 different types of dementia. Alzheimer's is just one of those many different forms. It's the most common form of dementia. So what that means is that all Alzheimer's is dementia, but not all dementia is Alzheimer's.
Okay.
So when an individual asks, what are some of the early warning signs, these are some of the early warning signs for many different forms of dementia. And typically when someone asks these questions, it's because they have a concern for themselves or for a family member, a loved one, a neighbor. And they have a fear. And in answering those questions, I don't want to promote those fears, I want to quell them. So if you notice that you have 1 or 2 of these signs, or that your loved one is experiencing 1 or 2 of these signs, it may just be a normal part of aging. It's really when an individual is experiencing 8 or 9 or all 10 of these signs all at once, and it's very severe, that there's reason for concern. But those signs include memory loss that disrupts your day-to-day life. I mean, I myself, I forget my keys every now and then, but that doesn't mean that I have Alzheimer's. Yeah, so most people, we forget our keys, we kind of trace our steps back, and we're like, oh, I left them in the kitchen, the glasses.
I always have a problem.
Yeah, but we're able to trace our steps back and find them. You have your glasses with you now. Someone with Alzheimer's may accuse a family member or loved one of having stolen them, or maybe think that the neighbor's cat came in and took the glasses out into the yard with them.
Okay.
Challenges in planning or solving problems. Let's say someone who has a familiar recipe, like for example, I have a grandmother who every single time she comes over to our home, or anyone's home for a holiday, she makes banana bread. It's the first thing she starts doing while everyone else is cooking, so we all have a snack to munch on during the day. If for whatever reason she's having a hard time making that banana bread that she's made, as far as I'm concerned, thousands of times before, then that's an indication that there might be something going on as well too. Problems with budgeting.
Does she put walnuts in?
Sometimes.
Okay. Very important.
Yeah, very important. Gotta have that crunch. Someone that has always been independent and in managing their checkbook.
Right.
If you forget to pay a bill every now and then, that's normal. We're managing a lot of bills that are coming in and outgoing. But if it's happening again and again and again, that's a serious financial issue that needs to be addressed as well too. And then confusion with time or place. That's a very common one that people are familiar with. And I mean, again, I may ask Lynn over here, hey Lynn, is today Tuesday? Today's Tuesday, right?
No, it's Monday.
It's Monday. Okay, thank you. So like that's a normal thing that we all do.
Right.
However, someone with Alzheimer's may be at a family function and they'll say, hey, today's Tuesday, right? And someone will say, no, it's Monday. And then 10 minutes later, they may ask, oh, it's Tuesday, right? Again, that's something that could be a sign of normal aging, and sometimes people just need that reminder.
Right.
Again, in cases with Alzheimer's, people tend to not just lose the day, they may lose the season. So it may be July out and they might be going for a walk wearing a fur jacket. That's inappropriate clothing for that type of weather,
Right.
and that's a serious health concern. Someone can easily overheat in a case like that. You also have cases where people begin to wander. That's another major issue with people that are affected with dementia and or Alzheimer's. So we actually do have programs that are designed as not an intervention, but a means of helping to keep track of a family member that might have a tendency to wander away from the home or go for long drives and not always make it home in the most direct route. Driving as well too. One of the things that a family member may notice in an individual who is showing early signs of Alzheimer's are signs of decreased judgment. So that same family member that's coming back from the grocery store, you might notice more dings, dents, and scratches on their car because they're not necessarily judging the distance at the way they should be doing properly, or they may be exiting too quickly or might not be making the best decisions on the road, and then you may want to begin having that conversation about that person continuing to drive into the future as well too. That also affects someone's finances in the long run. An individual may begin to purchase more and more things off of QVC or the home shopping network. And if you're losing track of how much you're spending on these items, you can purchase the same item again and again and again. And then before you know it, you can have spent tens of thousands of dollars on material that you and your family don't necessarily need.
Right. So if if someone is experiencing these things and they give you a call, what direction would you, as in the Alzheimer's Association, give them?
So one of the first things that we would recommend is we can do two things. They can speak with Margaret Miller, who is our helpline specialist, and she is the wizard of the directory of all the different resources that are available throughout the 7 counties that I mentioned before. But the second thing that we would do is we would refer that family, that individual, to come in and sit down with one of our care consultants who are licensed clinical social workers who are very familiar with all of the services that are available in the area that would benefit that individual, and that care consultant will sit down with that family and come up with a plan of attack or a caregiving strategy to help address whatever specific needs that family needs to focus on.
And what did you want to say, Lynn? I'm sorry.
Oh, I was just saying the other thing that happens a lot is a good early indicator is sleep disruption, anxiety, agitation. I have gotten calls at 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning from my father-in-law, and he doesn't know it's nighttime. He has no idea what it is. He calls me at 7 o'clock in the morning, and I said, it's only 7. 7 what? He knows my phone number.
Right.
And he can dial the phone. But other than that, and that's really difficult when they lose that ability to tell time, day from night, seasons, like Andy said, hours. It becomes very, very difficult to schedule anything, and it becomes more important, I've found, to the patient, to the loved one, to have a schedule. I mean, I have to put something on my father-in-law's calendar every day. There has to be something on that calendar every day, because then he reads it in the morning, and it stabilizes him.
So, what are the opportunities for people in the area if they want to get involved with the organization?
Volunteerism, the biggest thing. Yes, we love volunteers. We love our volunteers. We do certain events every year. We had, each county has its own volunteer corps and walk committee, and that is the best thing to do. Contact the 9300 3900 phone number to find out where your local volunteer group is, and work from there. Also, right, even in the jobs, even in the office, volunteers will come in and do data entry work or things like that. We need volunteers. We need them for caregiving, caregiving support.
Right.
Anything that you can do.
Right.
Fundraising. That's we do everything by fundraising.
Right. And the caregiving support, I mean, somebody who's caregiving and is 24/7, you relieve them at times.
Yes,
right?
respite care. Yes.
Yeah. So that if someone's stuck in the house and they have to worry about whether they're going to leave their loved one, you know, and their loved one's going to wander off or do something that will hurt themselves, then you have somebody that comes in while the other person gets a little break.
Right.
If someone were interested in volunteering, Lynn was right. All they have to do is call that 1-800 number.
You want to give that to us again?
1-800-272-3900.
Okay.
And locally here at the Hudson Valley chapter, you would ask to speak with Susan Bunce. She's the volunteer director. And depending on what that particular volunteer's interests are, Susan can work with that individual on finding everything from helping us out around the office, which we can always use, down to helping to get that person trained to maybe speak and give presentations in their local community.
So you can become part of the community.
Exactly.
Yes.
And we are a community year-round, even though we only have 2 really big events, and that is the Sub-Zero Heroes, which is jumping in Lake Barrens
I'm not
when
doing
it's
that.
7 degrees outside. No, I decided to become a sidekick, and I dressed like a chicken and carried a sign that says that I'm a chicken. But I'll carry anything you want.
Yeah, definitely.
It's and then
Don't
the
put
main
me
walk.
in that briar patch.
But we spend a lot of time, of course, fundraising. And we go to banks, we go to different
Get
associations.
sponsors.
Yes.
Right.
Yes. We
So
have
if you're a
sponsors.
business and you want a worthwhile foundation to sponsor to,
Exactly.
Yes,
Exactly.
if you're a business owner and you'd like to encourage your employees or staff or incumbents to volunteer more, feel free to give Sue a call, and she loves working with groups that are interested in volunteering however many hours of their time as a community themselves.
exactly. So you were telling me a little bit before about a faith-based group that you're involved with.
Yes, yes. So we have an outreach program called Purple Sunday, and the goal of Purple Sunday is to help bring more information about Alzheimer's, dementia, aging that's normal and aging that's not so normal into the faith community. So the African American and Hispanic communities, for example, are affected by Alzheimer's in incidence rates that are as high as 2 times to 1.5 times greater than what is average.
Wow.
So one thing that we found is that in times of need, underserved populations do tend to find themselves in the church. It's a safe space. And also what we find is that one of the reasons that many of these underserved populations are experiencing a lot of these high incidences of Alzheimer's or dementia is because of a lack of information as to, as I suggested before, what is normal and what's not so normal. So what we're hoping to do is we're hoping to foster stronger relationships with the faith communities throughout Rockland, Orange, Sullivan, and the other counties throughout New York in order to bring a day of awareness where we would encourage congregation members to wear purple. If a family did have concerns about one of the older family members or concerns about themselves, it would give them an opportunity to speak about their concerns in a safe space with their congregation members, maybe bring it up with one of their pastors, and get information from us while we're tabling at their Day of Awareness.
So if you want somebody to come into your church and set something up, or your synagogue,
Or your synagogue, any house of worship.
or your any house of worship, you just have to give you a call, and you have a special number for that. Is that correct?
Yes, if you're interested in a Purple Sunday event, you can
Right.
call me, Andres Standard, at 914-357-6115. Even if you're interested in scheduling for months down the road,
Right.
feel free to give me a call, and I'll put a save the date in for you on the calendar, just so I can make sure that we have materials.
And even if you don't want to set up a Sunday date, just call and find out about the
Yes.
program.
Call and find out. I mean, I'd be more than happy to even drop off a few of these caregiver toolkits at your church, and you can feel free to have your pastor hand them out himself or herself.
We one of the other things that we do, Sullivan County has a lot of charity walks and runs. I mean, like at least 2 or 3 a month. We go to all of them. We don't necessarily walk, but we set up a table, and we
Right.
have the Alzheimer's information, and we try and get them to sign up for the walk. But there's always a volunteer there, at least one volunteer there, that they can just ask questions to.
Right. So if you're having a walk for autism or a walk for anything,
Right,
if you
we're there.
give the organization, the Alzheimer's organization, a call, they'll come and set up a table. And
Oh yeah, we're always happy to be at any and every event to help support whatever cause we're there for, because we're all a greater community helping
Right.
one another.
Right. Very good. So this question, what I would like to know is, what do you see in the future? In the next 5 or 10 years, what would you like to see for your organization?
What I'd like to see, a cure.
Well, every day the research staff is working toward a cure. I work in the programs end and educational programs.
Right.
So for me, what I'd like to see is a greater number of the Hispanic, African American, and underserved communities throughout the 7 counties that we serve. I would like to see them more informed as to what dementia really is. I would really be happy to know that families who once believed that certain deficits that were occurring as older persons within their families were aging, if they believe that these were once normal, that they're encouraged to at least speak with their physician.
Right. Okay.
Well,
Education.
Yes,
Education.
absolutely.
I'd be happy within the next 5 years if any number of people were to cross that threshold needed to speak with their physician, because it might not be Alzheimer's, it might not be dementia, it might just be an infection. It might be something that could
Absolutely physical.
very
Yeah.
easily be cleared up. So in the next 5 years, what I hope is that I'm able to dispel some of the stigmas that surround dementia and Alzheimer's, so that people talk to their physician about it.
Right.
And I think in the next 5 years, I'd like to see more physicians
Right.
who are more open about dementia and Alzheimer's, and finding the information themselves so that they can pass it on.
Right.
You know, I'd like to see the 10 warning signs of dementia in their office.